Church Theatre and Roger Williams University Theatre's production of
Dancing at Lughnasa.
We're so excited to have you all here. We just have a couple of housekeeping things to give us your attention for just a few moments before the show.
So, first off, I know you all have these on you. You got your cell phone. We just want to make sure you've got it turned all the way off and on silent mode, including vibration, so that there are no distractions to the actors during the production. Additionally, on the note of distractions, make sure if you have any food or candy, unwrap it now. That way you're not crinkling wrappers during the production.
Something else that's really big to point out, as you can see, we've all got these nice little things on our faces. It is very important that we wear these throughout the entirety of the show, keep them up over your nose, because all of our actors in the show are performing unmasked, which is a really big deal for us. Yeah! It's a really big deal. So, to keep everybody safe, we're going to ask that you really try hard to keep your mask all the way up for the duration of the performance. In the chance of an emergency, we have two emergency exits. The first of which is out the doors, came in and through the front doors, or behind us, through the curtain, down the stairs, and out the double doors on your right. The show runs approximately 2 hours, with a 10-minute intermission, and if you leave during the middle of the act, we cannot let you back in until the intermission or the end of the play. And is that it?
I think that's it.
Without further ado,
Welcome to Ireland. Enjoy the show.
Cast my mind back to that summer of 1936. Different kinds of memories offer themselves to me. We got our first wireless set that summer. Well, sort of a set. And it obsessed us. And because it arrived as August was about to begin, my Aunt Maggie, she was the joker of the family. She suggested that we give it a name. She wanted to call it Lugh, after the old Celtic god of the harvest. Because in the old days, August the 1st was Lughnasa, the feast day of the pagan god Lugh, and the days and weeks of harvesting that followed were called the Festival of Lughnasa. But my Aunt Kate, she was a national school teacher and a very proper woman. She said that it would be sinful to christen an inanimate object with any kind of name, not to talk of a pagan god. So we just called it Marconi, because that was the name emblazoned on the set. And about 2 weeks before we got that set, my mother's brother, my Uncle Jack, came home from Africa for the first time ever. He worked at a leprechaun there in Uganda, and now in his early 40s and in poor health, he had come home to Ballybeg, as it turned out, to die. And when I cast my mind back to that summer of 1936, these two memories of our first wireless and of Father Jack's return are always linked, so that when I remember my first shock at Jack's appearance, shrunken and jaundiced with malaria, at the same time, I remember my first delight, indeed my awe at the sheer magic of that radio. And when I remember the kitchen throbbing with the beat of Irish dance music beamed to us all the way from Athlone, and my mother and her sisters suddenly catching hands and dancing a spontaneous step dance. At the same time, I see the forlorn figure of Father Jack shuffling from room to room as if he were searching for something, but couldn't remember what. Even though I was only a child of 7 at the time, I know I had a sense of unease, some awareness of a widening breach between what seemed to be and what was, of things changing quickly before my eyes, and of things becoming what they ought not to be. Perhaps that was because during those luminous weeks in 1936, we were visited on 2 occasions by my father, Jerry Evans, and for the first time in my life, I had the chance to observe him.
When are we going to get a decent mirror to see ourselves in?
You can see enough to do, you.
I'm going to throw this old crack thing out.
Indeed you're not, Chrissy. I'm the one that broke it, and the only way to avoid 7 years bad luck is to keep on using it.
You can see nothing in it.
Except more and more wrinkles.
You know what I think I might do? I think I just might stop wearing lipstick.
Oh, do you hear this, Maggie? Steady on, girl. Today it's lipstick. Tomorrow it's the gin bottle.
That's right.
Well, as long as Kate's not around. Do you want to make a pig?
Far too pale and the old mousy hair. Need a bit of colour.
What for?
Want to
come to Abyssinia? Will you come? Bring your own cup and a saucer and a bun. Mussolini will be there with his airplanes in the air. Will you come to Abyssinia? Will you come? Not bad, Rodier.
Oh, you should be on the stage, Rose.
And not a bad bit of leg, Rodier.
Rose, Monty, where's your modesty? Is that not more like it?
Look, Agnes, look.
A right pair of pagans, the two of y'all.
Turn on Marconi, Chrissy.
I've told you a dozen times, the battery's dead.
It is not. It went for me a while ago.
You see? Take some Rosie.
Told ya.
That old set's useless.
Kate will have a new battery back with her.
If it's the battery that's wrong.
Is Abyssinia in Africa, Aggie?
Yes.
Is there a war there?
Yes, I've told you that.
But that's not where Father Jack was, is it?
Jack was in Uganda, Rosie. That's a different part of Africa. You know that.
Yes, I do. I know that.
When you vote for the banana, when you vote, and you never be like Danny when you vote.
Uncle Bill from Boston Glass has a wireless up his phone. Will you vote for Team Valera? Will you vote?
I'll tell you, Rosie, the pair of us should be on the stage.
The pair of us should be on stage, Aggie!
What's that son of yours out there?
God knows, as long as he's quiet.
Well, he's making something. It looks like a kite.
Michael!
Oh! That was the wrong thing to do. You want to have your hair, Chris?
My hair is like a wind bush.
Will you wash it for me tonight, Maggie?
Are we on for a big dance somewhere?
After I put Michael to bed, what about then?
I'm your man. Pity there aren't any boys about to play with. Now you're talking. Couldn't we all do with that? Really? Just great. Oh, shh.
What is it?
I thought I heard Father Jack at the back door. I hope Kate remembers his queen. She'll remember. Kate forgets nothing. Right.
There's going to be pictures in the hall next Saturday, Aggie. I think maybe I'll go.
Yes.
I might be meeting somebody there.
Who's that?
I'm not saying.
Do we know him?
I'm not saying.
Well, you'll enjoy that, Rosie. You love the last picture we saw.
And he wants to bring me up the back hills next Sunday. Up to Lughnasa. His father has a boat there. And I'm thinking maybe I'll bring a bottle of milk with me. And I have enough money saved to buy a packet of chocolate biscuits.
Danny Bradley is a Scot, Rose.
I never said it was Danny Bradley.
He's a married man with 3 young children.
And that's just where you're wrong, Missy. So there. She left him 6 months ago, Aggie, and went to England.
Rose, love, we just want you to
And
think
who are
about...
you to talk, Christina Mundy? Don't you dare lecture me.
Everybody in town knows
And
that
there
Danny...
goes too. That's what's wrong with the Holia. You're jealous of me. He calls me his Rosebud, Aggie. And he waited outside the chapel gate for me last Christmas morning and gave me this. That's for my Rosebud, he said.
Is it a fish, Rosie?
Isn't it lovely? It's made of pure silver, and it brings you good luck.
It is lovely.
I wear it all the time beside my miraculous medal. I love him, Aggie.
I know. Bastard.
Summertime was nearly over. Blue Italian skies above. I said, Mister, I'm a rover. Can't you spare a sweet word of love?
For God's sake, I have an iron in there.
How's that so
Well, don't you see an iron? Now you've lost it. Get out of my road, will you?
my road, will you?
Rosie, love, would you give me a hand with this, please? If we don't work a bit faster, we'll never get 2 dozen pairs finished this week. Chip, 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 chip. What are these supposed to be?
Kites.
Kites? God help your wet.
Hey, what were you walking on to, Maggie? You're standing on a tail.
Whoop. Did it squeal? I'll make a deal with you, Cub. I'll bet you a penny that those other things never leave the ground, right?
You're on.
Oh, I've new riddles for you.
Oh, give up.
Oh. What goes round the house and round the house and sits in the corner? A broom. Oh. Why is a river like a watch?
You're pathetic.
Because it can't go far without winding
find
Oh, that's one. Harry out, Harry in, lift your foot, and stab it in. What is it? Give up. Think. Give up. Have you even one brain in your head?
Give up.
A sock.
A what?
A sock. You know, lift your foot and stab it. Do you know what your trouble is, Cub? You are book stupid.
Look out, Dr. Maggie, there's a rat!
Where? Jesus, Mary, and Joseph, where is it?
Caught you again, Aunt Maggie!
You evil wee brat. God forgive you. I'll get you for that, Michael. Don't you worry. I won't forget that. And I had a barley sugar sweet for you.
There's a bit of cigarette tobacco stuck in it.
Jesus Christ. Someday you're going to fill some woman's life full of happiness. There. I hope it chokes you.
When I saw Uncle Jack for the first time, the reason I was so shocked by his appearance was that I expected, well, I suppose, the hero from a schoolboy's book. If he was a hero to me, he was a hero and a saint to my mother and to my aunts. Oh, they pored over his occasional letters. They prayed every night for him and for his lepers and for the success of his mission. They scraped and saved, sixpence here, shilling there, sacrifices they made willingly, joyously, so that they would have a little bit of money to send to him at Christmas and for his birthday. And when the occasional story would appear in the Donegal Inquirer about our own leper priest, as they called him, because Ballybeg was proud of him. The whole of Donegal was proud of him. Well, it was only natural that our family would enjoy a small share of that fame. It gave us a little bit of status in the eyes of the parish, and it must have helped my aunts to bear the shame my mother brought in the family, by having me, as it was called then, out of wedlock.
Now that's what I call a busy man. Ah, and what's this? A kite, is it?
2 kites.
Most certainly is 2 kites. And they're the most wonderful kites I've ever seen. What are these designs?
Faces. I painted them.
Oh, good Lord, they cut the heart across me. Those? Oh, God bless us, those are scarifying. What are they? Devils, ghosts. I wouldn't like to see those lads in the sky above me. Hold on now. Do you know what this is? Of course you do, a spinning top. Do you know how to use it?
Uh-huh.
Indeed you do, what you said.
Thanks.
Thank you, Aunt Kate. And what else do I have for you, huh? A brand new library book with colored pictures. We'll even read at bedtime. Call me the moment you're ready to fly up. I wouldn't want to miss it for all the world. Oh.
Oh. Come on.
You know what he's at out there? Did you see Christina making 2 kites?
Some kites are like,
All by himself, no help from anybody.
you always said he was talented, Kate.
No question about that, and very mature for his years.
Very cheeky for his years.
Oh, I think he's beautiful, Chris. I wish he was mine.
Is that the spinning top he has?
Oh, it's nothing.
Oh, Kate, you have me spoiled. Where did you get it?
Morgan's arcade.
And I'm sure he didn't even thank you for
Oh,
it.
I know why you went to Morgan.
he did indeed. He's very mannerly.
You wanted to see Austin,
Every
Morgan.
field along the road, they're all out in the hay.
Because you have a notion of that old Austin Morgan.
You're going to be a good artist by the looks of it.
I know you have. She's blushing. Look, isn't she blushing?
Isn't that young Rosie?
But what you don't know is he's going off with a wee young thing from Carrot
Oh,
Fest.
Austin Morgan does or doesn't do with his life.
Why are you blushing then? She's blushing, isn't she? Why, Kate?
For God's sakes, Rose, shut up, would you?
Anyhow, we all know you always
Rosie?
had love.
Pass me those still needles, would you please? Are you tired?
The road from town gets longer every day. You can laugh all you want, but I'm going to get that old bike fixed up, and I'm going to learn how to ride this winter.
Money back to Ballybeg.
Ballybeg's off its head, I'm telling you. Everywhere you go, everyone you meet is the one topic. Are you going to the harvest dance? Who are you going with? What are you wearing? This year's supposed to be the biggest ever and the best ever.
All the same, I remember some great harvest dances.
Don't we all?
Another one of those riveting Annie M.P. Smithson novels for you, Agnes.
Oh, thanks.
Ooh, The Marriage of Nurse Harden. Oh dear. Oh, and for you, Christina. you're too pale.
Thank you, Kate.
It's because you take no exercise. Anyhow, I was in the chemist shop this morning and this young girl, wee slip of a thing. Oh, can't even remember her name. Her mother's the mint agent that buys your gloves, Agnes.
Lughnasa.
And her daughter, whatever you call her.
Sophia.
Miss Sophia, who must be all of 15. She comes up to me and she says, I hope you're not going to miss the harvest. I heard it's going to be just supreme this year. Honest to God, if you saw the delight in her eyes, you'd think it was heaven she's talking about. Off its head like a fever in the place. Ooh, that's the quinine. The doctor says it will cure the malaria, but it might help to contain it. Is he in his room?
Oh, he's out around the box somewhere.
I told the doctor you thought him very quiet, Agnes.
Yes.
Well, didn't you? The doctor says we must not forget how strange everything here must be to him after so long. And on top of that, Swahili's been his language for the past 15 years. So it's not that his mind is confused. It's just he has trouble finding the English words for what he wants to say.
No matter what the doctor says, Kate, his mind is a bit confused. Sometimes he doesn't know the difference between us. I catch him calling you Rose, and he keeps calling me this strange name like...
Papa.
That's it. Andy, you've heard him, haven't you?
Papa was his houseboy. He was very attached to him. Oh, I think I'm getting cards in this foot. I pray to God I don't end up crippled like poor mother. May she rest in peace.
Wouldn't it be a good one if we all went?
Went where?
To the harvest dance.
Hey.
Just like we used to. All dressed up. But I think I'd go.
Oh, I go too, I'd go with you.
For heaven's sake, you're not serious, Agnes, are you?
Well, I think I am.
There's more than belly make on its head.
We should all
Do you
go.
have any idea what it'd be like crawling with the cheeky young brats I taught years ago?
I'm gay.
We couldn't, Aggie, couldn't we?
And all the riffraff of the countryside?
I'm gay.
Oh, Aggie, you know I love dancing.
Oh, what do you say? You have a 7-year-old child, have you forgotten that?
Oh, you know what that blue dress of mine? You have the figure for it, and it brings out the color of your eyes.
Oh, can I have it? God, Aggie, I could dance non-stop all night, all week, all month.
And who look after Father Jack?
Oh, and you can wear that cotton dress you got for confirmation. You're beautiful, kid.
What sort of silly talk is this?
And you can wear my brown shoes with the crossover straps.
This is silly talk. We can't talk this, how can we?
Will Maggie go with us? Will Maggie what? Try to stop her.
Oh, God, Agnes, what do you think?
We're going.
Are we?
We're off. We're
Hey,
away.
maybe we're mad.
Are we mad?
It costs 4 and 6 to get in.
On £5 saved. I'll take you. Oh, I'll take us all.
Hold on
How
now.
long has it been since we were at the harvest dance? I've had in hands. And I don't care how young they are. How drunk and dirty. I want to dance, kids. It's the festival of Lughnasa. I'm only 30 and I want to dance.
Oh, I know, Agnes. All the same. Oh, my God. I don't know if we can do this.
No, it's settled. We're going. The Monday girls, all 5 of us together.
Like we used to.
Like we used to.
I love you, Aggie. I love you more than chocolate biscuits! Will you come to our city or will you come?
No. No, we are going nowhere.
But if we all want to go.
Look at yourselves. Will you? Just look at yourselves dancing at our time of day. That's for young people with no duties or responsibilities and nothing in their heads but pleasure.
Kate, I
Do you want the whole countryside to be laughing at us? Women of our years, mature women, dancing? What's come over you all? And this is Father Jack's home. We must never forget that ever. No, we are not going to the harvest dance.
But you just said.
There'll be no more discussion about it. The matter's over. I do not want to mention it again.
Chick, 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 chick.
The fox is back.
Oh, did you see him?
He has a hole chewed in the hen house door.
Oh, yeah, look at him on Maggie.
Wasn't I talking to him? He was asking for you.
Uh-huh. Hey, look what you have in your hand.
Something I found.
What?
Sitting very still at the foot of the honey tree.
Show me.
Say please 3 times.
Please, please, please.
In Swahili.
You don't have to show it to me. You're already not.
Alright. Now, come. Put your ear over here. Shh. Listen. Do you hear it?
I think so, yes.
Are you sure?
Yes, I'm sure. Show me Aunt Maggie.
Alright. Ready? Get back a bit. A bit further. Right. Oh, just lovely.
What was it?
Did you see it?
I think so, yes.
Wasn't it wonderful?
Oh, is it a bird?
The colours are so beautiful. Trouble is, only one quick glimpse, and that's all you ever get. And if you miss that,
What was it, Aunt Maggie?
don't you know what it was? It was all in your mind. Now we're quits.
Tea, soap, Indian mail.
I'm sick of that white rooster of yours, Rosie. Some pet that. Look at the lump it took out of the arm.
You don't speak to him, right?
I know the speaking is a gift from me. The weight of my boot. Chrissy, would you put some turf on that fire? I'm going to make some sort of bread.
Watch out. She's in one of her cranky ones.
Your tin wildwood. Why, Maggie?
Oh, great. The tongue's out of Maya.
You missed it all, Maggie.
What did I miss this time?
We were all going to go to the harvest dance, like the old days, and then Kate.
Your shoes, Rose. The shoemaker says whatever kind of feet you got, all of the insides of the soles wear down.
Is that a bad thing?
It's neither a bad thing nor a good thing, Rose. It's just distinctive. This might be expected.
Oh.
Sugar for the bilberry jam, if we ever get the bilberries.
Look at the package of wild woodbine she got me.
What's wrong with it?
Only 9 cigarettes in it. They're so wild, one of them must have escaped on her.
I sometimes call you a cow too, Maggie.
Yeah, what does it mean?
A cow is this houseboy Kate says.
Damn it, I thought it was Swahili for gorgeous.
Oh, Maggie.
And the battery. The man in the shop says we go through these quicker than any butty in Ballybeg.
Good for us.
Met with the parish priest today. Don't know what's the matter with the man, but ever since Father Jack came home, he can hardly look at me in the eye.
That's because you keep winking at him, Kate.
He was always moody, that man.
Maybe that's it. Paper, candles, matches. The word's not good on the young Sweeney boy from the back hills. He was anointed last night.
I didn't know he was dying.
Not an inch of his body that isn't burned.
Well, does anybody know what happened to him?
It's just some silly prank up in the back hills. He knows he's dying, the poor boy.
What sort of crime?
How would I know?
What did they say in the town?
I know only what I told you, Christina.
It was last Sunday week, the first night of the festival of Lughnasa, and they were doing what they do every year up there in the back
The
hills.
festival of Lughnasa. What sort of silly talk is this?
First, they light a bonfire beside a spring well, and then they dance around it, and then they drive their cattle through the flames to banish the devil out of it.
The first thing of what you're talking
And
about.
this year, there was an extra big crowd of boys and girls, and they were off their heads with drink, and young Sweeney's trousers caught flame, and he went up like a torch. That's what happened.
Who filled your head with that nonsense?
They do it every Lughnasa. I'm telling you, that's what happened.
And they're savages. I know those people from the back hills. I taught them, and they're savages. That's what they are. And what sort of pagan practices they have are no concern of ours, none whatsoever. It's a sorry day to hear talk like that in a Christian home, a Catholic home. All I can say is I'm shocked and disappointed to hear you repeating rubbish like that, Rose.
I'm telling you, that's what happened.
All the same, I think it would be very handy in the winter to have a wee boy's feet hens.
Oh, I beg your pardon. It's the wrong apartment. Forgive me.
Come and join us, Jack.
May I?
You're looking well, Jack.
Yes? I expected to enter my bedroom through that, what I am missing, what I require. I had a handkerchief in my pocket, and I think perhaps oh, well, thank you. I'm grateful. It's so strange. I don't remember the architecture, the planning. What's the word? The layout. I don't recollect the layout of this home scarcely. That is strange, isn't it? I thought the front door was there. You walked to the village to buy stores, Agnes.
It's Kate. And dozens of people were asking for you.
They remember me.
Of course they remember you. And when you get stronger, they're going to have a great public welcome. Flags, stands, speeches, everything.
Well, why would they do this?
Because they're delighted to have you back.
Yes?
Because they're delighted to
name 10 people in Ballybeg now.
It will all come back to you. Don't worry.
You think so?
Yes, it will.
Perhaps. I feel the climate so cold. If you'll forgive me.
Why don't you lie down for a while?
I may do that. Thank you. You are most kind.
It'll be a slow process, but it'll be fine. Apples, flour, butter. Oh, wait till you're here. Who did I meet in the post office today? Maggie, are you listening to me?
Yes.
Your old pal, Bernie O'Donnell, back home from London. First time in 20 years.
Bernie.
Absolutely gorgeous. Figure of a girl of 18. Dressed to kill from head to foot. Oh, and the hair, as black and as curly as the day she left. I couldn't tell you, a film star. Bernie O'Donnell, and beside her two of the most beautiful children you ever seen. Twins, they'll be 10 next month. And you should see the three of them together like sisters, I'm telling you.
Twin girls.
Identical. Nora and Nina.
Mother used to say twins are a double blessing.
And what do you hear? They are pure blonde. Where in God's name did the blonde hair come from, I asked her. The father, Eric, she says, he's from Stockholm.
Stockholm.
Where's Stockholm, honey?
So there you are. Bernie O'Donnell married to a Swede. I couldn't believe my eyes. But the same laughing, happy, bubbly Bernie, asking about everybody by name.
She remembered us all.
Had Michael's age down to the very note. Was Agnes so the quickest nature in Daddy Bed? Were none of us thinking of getting married? Weren't we, wives?
Did she remember me?
Rose had the sweetest smile I ever saw.
There.
But asking specifically for you, Maggie, how you were doing, what you were doing, how you were looking. Well, you're still as light-hearted as ever. Every time she thinks of you, she says she has the memory of the two of you hiding behind a turf stack, passing a cigarette about, laughing about some boy called, oh, what was his name? Curly somebody.
Curly McDade.
Ah,
An Egypt of a fella. Bold as an egg at 17.
Bernie O'Donnell. Oh my goodness.
Well, she'll be around for a while.
Leaving tomorrow.
We won't see her so. That's a pity. Nice names, aren't they? Nina and Nora.
I like Nora. Nice name, strong name.
Not so sure about Nina. Do you like Nina for a name? Nina? No, not a lot.
Well, if there's a sight Nina, I'm afraid she's not in my prayer book.
Well, maybe she's a Swedish saint.
Oh, saints in Sweden, what'll it be next, huh?
Mother used to say twins are a double blessing.
You offered us that cheap wisdom already, Rose.
You've got some flour on your nose, Maggie.
Oh, jeez.
When I was 16, I remember slipping out one Sunday night. It was this time of year, the beginning of August, and Bernie and I met at the gate of the workhouse, and the pair of us off to a dance in Ardstraw. I was being pestered by this fella called Tim Cargan at the time, but it was really Brian McGuinness that I was keen on. Remember Brian? With the white hands and the longest eyelashes you ever saw? But he was crazy about Bernie. Anyhow, the two boys took us on, they borrowed their bikes, and off the four of us headed to the dance in Ardstraw, 15 miles each way. If Daddy had known, may he rest in peace. That's the last time I saw Brian McGuinness. Remember Brian? With the next thing I heard, he had left for Australia.
Is it working now, Christina?
What's that?
Marconi.
Oh. Yes, should be.
Mr. Rogers has seen better days. It's those cigarettes that are killing you. Wonderful wild woodbine. Next best thing to a wonderful wild man. Want a drag kitty? For God's sakes, Maggie, wash your face, will you?
Yes, miss.
Oh. Where's Michael Kersey?
Out there making ice, isn't he?
No, he's not there. He's gone.
He won't go far.
He was there 10 minutes ago.
He'll be alright.
If he goes down to the old well, he might...
Just leave him alone for once, will you please?
Who's making the tea
Oh.
this evening?
Well, who makes the tea every evening?
The connections seem to be alright. Maybe a valve is gone. If I knew what a valve looked like. If you ask me, we should throw it out.
Well, I'd be all for that. It's junk, that's it.
God damn it, bloody useless.
And you'll buy a new one, will you?
It was never any good.
And you'll buy a new one out of your grub money, will you? I thought what you and Rose are admitting, Rose, was barely sufficient to call the area.
This isn't your classroom, kid.
Because I certainly don't see any of it being offered for the upkeep of the house.
Please, kid.
And now it stretches to buy a new wireless. Wonderful.
I make every meal you sit down to every day of the week.
Maybe I should start knitting
I
gloves.
wash every stitch of your clothes. I polish your shoes. I make your bed. We both do, Rosie and I. Oh, well, paint the house, sweep the chimney, cut the grass, and save the turf, right? What you have here, Kate, are two unpaid servants.
And you know what your nickname at school is? The Gander. Everybody calls you the Gander.
Come here, can you see? Look who's coming up the lane. Who's coming? I only got a quick glimpse of him, but I'm almost certain.
Who is it?
It's Jerry Evans, Chrissy.
Christ almighty.
He's at the bend in the lane. See?
Jesus Christ almighty.
His face here. He wants to see his son, doesn't he? There's no welcome for a creature like that here.
Who hid my Sunday shoes?
We'll have to give him his tea. I don't see why we should. And there's nothing in the house. No business coming up in here and upsetting everybody.
You're right, Kate. I hate him.
Oh, has anybody got a spare pair of shoelaces? Oh, would you look at the state of the floor? Maybe he just wants to meet Father Jack. Father Jack may have something to say to Mr. Evans. My woodbine. Where's my woodbine?
He won't stay the night, Kate, will he?
He most certainly will not stay the night in this house. Everybody got a bit of corn? Annie got a bit of corn? Everybody behave normally. Act very calm and very dignified. Stop peeping out, bro.
There's nobody coming at all.
Oh, let me see.
You imagined it, Maggie. He's not there at all.
Oh, no, she's right. Maggie's right. There he is.
Show me.
Has he a walking stick
Yes.
and a straw hat?
Yes.
That's Mr. Evans, all right.
She's right. There he is.
Look at the state of me. What do I say to him? How close is he?
I couldn't look that man in the face. Oh, I just hate him. Hate him.
That's a very unchristian thing to say, Rose. There's no looking talk like that.
Look at my hands, Kate. I'm tight.
I'm not shaking. You are perfectly calm and looking beautiful. And what we're going to do is this. Meet him outside. Tell him that his son is healthy and happy. And then you send him packing, huh? You and Mike will be managing quite well without him, as you always have. Hold on. Of course. Let the creature in and give him his tea. And spend the night if he wants to, but in the outside loft and alone. Now, brought a book home with me. Did anybody see where I left it?
Where is he, Maggie?
In the garden. Did you see where I left the book, Agnes? It's in the cupboard, Kate.
Oh, how are you, Chrissy? Great to see you.
Hello, Jerry.
And how have you been these past 6 months?
13 months.
13? Never.
July last year, July the 7th.
Wow, 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 wow. Where does the time go? 13 months? Phew. A dozen times, 2 dozen times I planned to visit you, but then something came up and I just couldn't get away.
Well, you're here now.
Certainly am. And that was a bit of good fortune. Last night in a bar in Sligo, bumped into this chappie with a brand new Morris Cali, who let slip that he's heading out to Ballybeg in the morning. Ballybeg! Something familiar about that name. So, here I am, in the flesh, as a matter of interest. Wasn't that a bit of good luck?
Yes.
You just let it slip, and here I am. Oh, yes. Wonderful look.
Yes.
Looks terrified, the poor fella. Terrified, my foot. Come here till you see him, Maggie.
Not just now.
He looks like he could do with a good meal. I'll give him 3 minutes, and if she doesn't hunt them down all of them.
You're looking wonderful, Chrissy. Really great. Terrific.
My hair's like a wind wash.
Oh, it looks lovely to me.
Maggie's going to wash it tonight.
And how is Maggie?
Fine.
And Rose and Kate?
Grand.
And Agnes?
Everybody's well, thanks.
Do tell tell her I was asking for, Agnes.
I'd invite you in with the plate.
Oh, no, thanks all the same. The old schedule's a wee bit tight today. And the chappie who gave me a lift tells me Father Jack's home.
Just a few weeks ago.
All the way from Africa.
Yes.
Safe and sound.
Yes.
Oh, terrific.
Yes.
Lucky man.
Yes.
Oh, I really must take up some exercise. Putting on too much weight.
He's not still out there, is he? Yes. Doing what in God's name? Talking. Would someone please tell me what they have to say to each other? He's Michael's father, Kate. That's a responsibility never burdened Mr. Evans.
A commercial traveller called into Kate's school last Easter. He had met you somewhere up in Dublin. He had some stupid story about you giving dancing lessons up there.
He was right.
He was not, Jerry.
Oh, cross the old ticker.
Real lessons?
Oh, last winter.
What sort of dancing?
Oh, strictly ballroom. You should have been the one giving them, Chrissy. You were always a far better dancer than I was. Don't you remember? Oh, that was fun while it lasted. I enjoyed that.
And people came to you to be taught.
Oh, don't look so surprised. I had thousands of pupils. Millions.
Jerry.
53. All right. I'm a liar. 51. When the good weather came, they all drifted away. Same, really. Yes. I enjoyed that. But I have a brand new career as a matter of interest. Never been busier. Gramophone salesman. Agent of the whole country, if you don't mind. Minerva Gramophones. The wise boy.
Sounds good, Jerry.
Unbelievable. All I have to do is get the orders and send them on to Dublin. It's one big enterprise, Chrissy. Oh, one very big enterprise.
So things are going alright with you then?
Fabulous. The wholesaler can't keep up with me. Do you see this country? This country is gramophone crazy. Give you an example. Just the other week, just west of Oxford, spot this house on the side of a hill. Something about it seems just right. You know, off the bike, up the lane, knocks. Out comes this enormous chappie with red hair. What are you laughing at?
Jerry.
I promise you, we get the talking, I hand him the brochures, and he promises to buy 4. 1 for himself and 3 for his merry daughters.
He took 4 gramophones?
4 brochures, but he'll buy. I promise you, he'll buy. You know, people thought that gramophones would be a thing of the past when radios became a thing, but they were wrong. In my experience. Don't look now, but he's watching us from behind that bush.
Michael.
Just carry on with what you were doing. Is this all his stuff?
It's making fights if you don't mind.
Unbelievable. I could have glimpsed him down at the foot of the lane. He is just enormous.
He's at school, you know.
Never. Wow. Since when?
Christmas? Kate got him in early.
Fabulous. And he likes it?
He doesn't say much.
Oh, he loves it. He adores it. And he'll be brilliant at school. I actually intended on bringing him something small.
No. It's not
Just
him.
a token, really. As a matter of interest, last Monday I was looking at a bicycle out in Kilkenny, but they only had it in blue, and I thought black might be a little more, you know, manly. They took my name and everything. Give me a call next time I'm out there. Are you busy yourself?
Oh, just the usual housework. Looking after his lordship.
Wonderful.
Give Agnes and Rose a hand at their knitting, the odd bit of sewing. It's a pity you don't sell sewing machines.
Huh, that's an idea. Do the 2 jobs together. Make an absolute fortune. You have the most unbelievable business head, Chrissy. Never met anything like it. What you laughing at?
You should see the way she's looking at him, like he's the biggest tough in the world.
Tinker more likely, loafer, waster.
And she knows all that too.
2, that's all there is. Come over to see Maggie. Not just now.
Never guess what I saw on the road out from town. Talk about good luck. Cow with a single horn coming out of the middle of its forehead.
You never did.
Oh, as God is my judge. Just walking along by itself. No one around it.
Jerry,
And as it was passing me, it stopped and looked at me dead in the eye.
that was no cow you saw. That was a unicorn.
Oh, go ahead and mock. A unicorn has the body of a horse. This was a cow. A perfectly ordinary brown cow. Except it had a single horn coming out of the middle of its forehead, right here. What do I tell you a lie? Oh, go ahead and laugh. But that's what I saw. Wasn't that a bit of good luck?
Was it?
A cow with a single horn. Oh, yes, that must have been a good omen. How many cows like that have you ever met?
Thousands. Millions.
Oh, stop that. I'm sure it's the only one in Ireland. Maybe the only one in the world. And I met it on the road to Ballybeg. And it winked at me.
You never mentioned that.
What?
Then it winked at you.
Oh, unbelievable. That's what made it all so mysterious. Oh, yes, that must have been a good omen. Maybe I will sell a gramophone or two this week after all.
But I thought you were still...
Look, a single magpie. Oh, that's a bad omen for sure. One for sorrow. Bang! Miss, where's me lucky cow? Come back, brown cow, come back.
He's not still talking, is he?
Laughing. She laughs all the time with him. Do you hear the Maggie?
Yes. Laughing? Absolutely beyond my comprehension.
Like so many things, Kate.
2 more minutes and Mr. Evans will be talking to me, laughing.
Thinking of going away for a while, Chrissy.
Where to?
To Spain, as a matter of interest, just for a short while.
To sell gramophones?
Good God, no. You'll never believe this, but to do a spot of fighting with the International Brigade, the company leaves in a few weeks. Bit ridiculous, I know. But you know old Jerry when the blood's up. Bang, bang, bang. Whew, missing everybody.
Are you serious?
It surprised myself. As a matter of interest, it's...
What do you know about Spain?
I don't know. A little. Enough. Maybe. Oh, yes. I know enough. And I thought I might try my hand at doing something worthy for a change. Give Evans a big cause, and he won't let you down. It's only the everyday stuff that he's not so successful at. Anyhow, I'm still to enlist, and he's still watching us. He thinks we can't see him. I wouldn't mind talking to him.
He's a bit shy.
Naturally. And I'm a stranger to him practically. Does he even know my name?
Of course he knows your name.
Oh, good. Thanks. Well, maybe not so good. He's a very handsome child. He's got your eyes. Lucky boy.
Good for you, Aggie. What did you do to it? I didn't touch it.
Turn that thing off back, would you?
Oh, you have a gramophone. I could have gotten it for you wholesale.
It's a wireless set.
Oh, very much.
It doesn't go half the time. Aggie says it's a heap of junk.
I know nothing about radios, but if you need me to take a look at it.
Another time. When you come back.
And Agnes as well?
Fine, fine.
Out of all your sisters, Agnes always seemed to object the least to me. Please do tell her I was asking for her.
I'll tell her.
Good too.
Jerry,
Don't talk.
what do you ask?
Not a word.
Jerry. They're watching us. Knocking on you in the kitchen window.
Hope so. And Kate.
And Father Jack.
Better still. Terrific, yes.
They're dancing.
What?
They're dancing together. God forgive you.
He has her in his arms.
He has not the animal. They're dancing round the garden, Aggie. Oh, what sort of fool is she? He's a beautiful dancer, isn't he? Lean nurse Dragon, Maggie.
Oh,
Look at her face. She's easily led. Come here till you see them, Maggie. Come on. I'm busy, for God's sake. Can't you see I'm busy? The only thing that Evan's creature could do well was dance. He looked at her a fool. My God, would you look at that fool of a woman? Oh, her whole face alters when she's happy, doesn't it? They dance so well together. Such a beautiful couple. She's as beautiful as Bernie O'Donnell any day, huh?
You know the words.
I don't know any words.
Neither do I. Doesn't matter. This is more important. Will you marry me, Chrissy? Are you listening to me?
I hear ya.
Will you marry me when I come back in 2 weeks?
I don't think so, Jerry.
But I'm mad about you. You know that. I've always been mad about you.
When you're with me,
Oh, leave this house and come away with me,
which
please.
would not happen to me again. You wouldn't intend to, but that's just what would happen because that's your nature and you can't help yourself.
Not this time, Chrissy. This time is different.
Don't talk. No more words. Bounce me down the lane and then you'll leave.
Believe me, Chrissy, this time the omens are different. The omens are unbelievable this time.
They're away, dancing. Oh, tell me what's wrong with it. That's all it seems to last. A few minutes at a time. It must be something to do with the way it heats up. We probably won't see Mr. Evans for another year until the humor or something takes him again. He has a Christian name. And in the meantime, it's Christina's heart that'll be crushed. That's what I mind. But what really
ordinary duty. Does he ever wonder how she clothes and feeds Michael? Does he ask? Does he care?
I'm going out to get a bit of air. Bit of a headache all day.
Seems to me the beasts of the field have more concern for their young than the creature has.
Do you ever listen to yourself, Kate? You are such a damned righteous bitch! And his name is Jerry. Jerry! Jerry.
What was that about?
Who's to say?
Don't I know his name is Jerry? What about Ben Cullen and St. Patrick?
Oh, she's worried about Chris too.
That's what creatures like Mr. Evans do. Appear out of nowhere and suddenly poison the whole atmosphere of the house. God forgive him, the bastard! Dare! I said it. God forgive me.
Oh, was on the Isle of Capri that he found her, beneath the shade of an old walnut tree. Oh, I can see the flowers blooming round her when they met on the Isle of Capri.
You knew your prayers as well as you knew the words to them old pagan songs.
Oh, she's right. I am a righteous bitch, am I?
She was as sweet as a rose in the dawning, but somehow fate had it meant it to be. And though he sailed in the tide in the morning, still his heart's on the Isle of Capri. Now, who's for a foxtrot?
You work hard at your job. You try to keep the home together. You perform your duties as best you can because you believe in responsibility and obligation and good order. But suddenly hair cracks are appearing everywhere. Control is slipping away. And the whole thing is so fragile it can't be held together much longer. It's all about to collapse, Maggie.
Nothing's about to collapse, Kate.
And my young sweetie boy from the back house, the one that was anointed, his trousers didn't catch fire, as Rose said. They were doing some devilish thing with a goat, some sort of sacrifice for the Lughnasa festival, and Sweeney was so drunk he toppled over right into the middle of the bonfire. You know why that came into my head? Okay. Mr. Evans will be off again for another 12 months, and the week after, Christina collapsed into one of her depressions. Do you remember last winter? Yes. All that sobbing and lamenting in the middle of the night. I don't think I could go through that again. The doctor said that he doesn't think Father Jack's mind is confused, but the superiors have no choice but to send him home. Whatever he means by that, Maggie. I did meet with the parish priest today. He told me that the numbers are falling and they might not have a job for me after this summer. But the numbers aren't falling, Maggie. Why is he telling me lies? Why does he want rid of me? Why won't he come and visit Father Jack? He gives me the push. 5 of us will be home together all day. We can spend the day dancing to Marconi. Shh. What worries me most of all is Rose. If I die, I lost my job. If this house were broken up, what did become of our Rosie?
Kate, love.
I must put my faith in God, Maggie, must I?
Yeah.
He'll look after her, won't he? Sure. You believe that, Maggie, don't you? I believe that too. I believe that. I do believe that.
Well, now you've got a good look at him. What do you think of him? Do you remember him?
I never saw him before.
Yes, you did. 5 or 6 times. You must have forgotten. He saw you down by the lane. He thinks you've gotten big and he thinks you're very handsome.
Aunt Kate got me a spinning top. I won't spin.
He's handsome, isn't he handsome?
Yeah, give up.
I'll tell you a secret. The others weren't to know. He's got a great new job and he's wonderful at it.
What does he do?
And he's bought a bicycle for you, a black bike, a man's bike, and he's going to bring it with him the next time he comes.
Is he coming back soon?
Maybe. Yes, he is.
How soon?
Next week, the week after. Soon. Oh yes, you have a handsome father. You're a very lucky boy, and I'm a very lucky woman. Oh, and another bit of good news for you, lucky boy. You have your mother's eye.
most exciting turf we've ever burned.
Is Jared going?
Just this minute. He says to thank you for the offer of the bed.
Next time he's back.
That will be in a week or two, depending on his commitments.
Oh, the outside lot happens to be open.
Oh, and he sends his love to you all.
Oh.
Especially to you, Aggie. And the kiss.
For me?
Yes, for you.
And now, Garrett, the daily dilemma. What's for tea?
Oh, let me make the tea, Maggie.
And we'll both make the tea. I've got a couple of tomatoes, I think. Perhaps something trilling. And if you're prepared to wait, I'll get the soda bread made.
I'm making the tea, Maggie.
Just let me today, please, for
I
once.
make the tea every evening. Why shouldn't I make it again this evening as usual?
No reason at all. Aggie's the chef. Everybody's doing it, doing it, doing it. Picking their noses and chewing it, chewing it, chewing it. If she knew her prayers like she knows those old pagan songs. Marconi, my friend, you're not still asleep, are you?
And if anybody's looking for me, I'll be at the bank of the river for the rest of the... I beg your pardon, my mind was, it's Kate. And Agnes. And Margaret.
Yeah, how are you, Jack?
And this is...
Christina.
Oh, forgive me, Chris. You were only a baby when I went away. I remember Mother lifting you up as the train was pulling out of the station and grabbing your hand and waving it at me. The wind was about and you had such curly hair, but she had somehow managed to attach a tiny pink, what's the word? A bow, just about here. And as you waved your hand, the bow fell off. It's like a picture, camera picture, a photograph. It's like a photograph in my mind.
The hair isn't much better even now, Jack.
And I remember you crying, Margaret.
Was I?
Yes, your face was all blotchy with tears.
Well, you may be sure, beautiful as ever.
And you and Kate were on Mother's right with Rosie between you. You each had a hand. and Mother's face, I remember. It showed nothing. I often wondered about that afterwards.
She knew she'd never see you again in her lifetime.
I know that, but in the other life, do you think perhaps Mother didn't believe in the ancestral spirits?
Ancestral? What are you blabbering about, Jack? Mother was a saintly woman and knew she was going straight to heaven. Don't you forget to take her medicine again this evening. You have to take it 3 times a day.
There was a strange white bird on my windowsill when I woke up this morning.
That's Rose's pet rooster. Keep away from that thing. Look what it did to me arm, Jack. One of these days I'm going to wring its neck.
That's what we do in Rianka when we want to please the spirits. Or appease them. We kill a rooster or a young goat. It's a very exciting exhibition. No, that's not the word, is it? Demonstration? No. A show? No. What's the word I'm looking for? A spectacle? No. The word to describe a sacred and mysterious. You have a ritual killing. You offer up a sacrifice. There's dancing and an incantation. What's the name for that? Oh, for that. Oh, gone. Lost it. My vocabulary has deserted me. Never mind. Doesn't matter.
Do they speak Swahili all the time out there, Jack?
All the time, yes. To the people, Swahili. When Europeans call, we speak English, or if we have a visitor, a visitation from the district commissioner. Our present commissioner knows Swahili, but he won't speak it. He's a stubborn man. He and I fight a lot, but I like him. The Irish outcast, he calls me. He's always inviting me to spend a weekend with him in Kampala to keep me from going native, as he calls it. Oh, perhaps when I go back. if you cooperate with the English, they give you all sorts of money for schools and churches and hospitals. And he gets so angry with me because I won't take his money. Reported me to my superiors in head house last year, and they were very cross. Oh, very cross. But I like him. When I was saying goodbye to him, he thought this was very funny. He gave me a present in the last governor's ceremonial hat to take home. Ceremony! That's the word! How could I have forgotten? Oh, the offering virtue of the sacrifice, a ceremony! Oh, such a simple word. What was I telling you about?
Oh, the district commissioner gave you this present.
Yes, a wonderful tricorn hat with 3 ostrich plumes rising out of the crown. I have it in one of my trunks, I'll show it to you later. Oh, ceremony. I'm so glad I got that. You know what I found very strange? Coming home in the boat, there were days where I couldn't remember even the simplest words. Not that anybody seemed to notice. And you can always point, can't you, Margaret?
Or make signs.
Or make signs.
Dad, what you must do is read a lot. Books, magazine, papers, anything. I read with young Michael every night before he goes to bed. It's great for his vocabulary.
I'm sure you're right, Kate. I'll do that. I haven't seen young Michael today, Agnes.
Christina, Dad.
Oh, sorry.
He's out there somewhere, making kites if you don't mind.
And I still need to meet your husband.
I'm not married.
Ah,
Michael's father was here a while ago. Jerry Evans.
you were never married.
Never.
We're all in the same boat, Jack. We're hoping that you'll hunt about and get men for all of us.
So, Michael is a love child.
I suppose so, yes.
He's a fine guy.
He's not a bad.
You're lucky to have him.
We're all lucky to have him.
In Rianga, women are eager to have love children. The more love children you have, the more fortunate your household is to be. Have you other love children?
She certainly has not. And as strange as it may seem to you, neither does Agnes, nor Rose, nor Maggie, nor myself. No harm to Rianga, but you're home in Donegal now. And as much as we cherish love children, they aren't exactly the norm. The doctor says if you don't take exercise, your legs will seize up. So what we're going to do is this. We're going to walk down to the main road and back 3 times. You're going to come home, read the paper front to back, have your tea, take your medicine, and then we'll go to bed. And we'll do that the day after, and the day after that, and the day after that, till you're back to what you were. Now you go on without me, and I'll be with you in a moment. Oh, where's my card again?
Some of Aunt Kate's forebodings weren't all that inaccurate. Indeed, some of them fulfilled before the festival of Lughnasa was over. He was right about Father Jack. He was sent home by his superiors, not because his mind was confused, but for reasons that would become clearer as the summer drew to a close. And she was right about losing her job at the local school. The parish priest didn't take her on when the new term began, but that had more to do with Father Jack than with fallen numbers. And she had good reason to be uneasy about Rose, and had she known about Agnes too. But what she couldn't have foreseen was that the home would fall apart quite so quickly, and that when she would wake up one morning in early September, both Agnes and Rose would have left forever. She was wrong about my father, though. I suppose their natures were so out of tune that she would always be wrong about my father. Because he did come back in a couple weeks, just as he said he would. And although my mother and he didn't go through a conventional form of marriage, once more they danced together, witnessed by the unseen sisters. It was a dance without music, just there, in ritual circles, down the lane, and back up again. Slowly, formally, easy deliberation. My mother, with her head thrown back, her eyes closed, her mouth slightly open, and my father, holding her just that distance away from him so he could regard her upturned face. There was no singing, no melody, no words, just the swish and whisper of their feet across the grass.
They don't belong to us, they belong to the child. Now, go for our walk. Oh, play to me, gypsy, the moon's high above. Oh, play me your serenade, the song I love. Are you getting your books ready for school again?
School doesn't start for another 10 days.
God, I always hated school. You know I have a little financial matter to discuss. Do you hear me, cub?
I'm not listening.
You owe me money.
I do not.
Yes, you do. 3 weeks ago, I bet you a penny that those old kites would never get off the ground. And they never did.
Because there was never enough wind, that's why.
Enough wind, would you listen to him? A hurricane couldn't shift those things. Anyhow, a debt is a debt. 1 penny, please, at your convenience. Or the equivalent in kind, 1 wild woodbine. Beside your caravan, the campfire's bright.
Leave me alone, Aunt Maggie.
I'd be your vagabond, just for
What
tonight.
do you mean you do? The penny's unwanted.
Your frank opinion, cub. My vagabond material.
Get out of my road, will ya? I'm trying to write a letter.
Who to? That's for me to know when you would find out, Well, whoever he is, need to be smart to read that scroll.
It's to Santa Claus.
In September? Nothing like getting in before the rush. What are you asking for?
A bell.
A bell?
For my bicycle.
For your bicycle?
The bike my daddy's bought me, stupid.
Your daddy has bought you a bicycle.
He told me today he bought it in Kilkenny. So there.
Your daddy told you that.
Asking myself, it's coming next week. It's a black bike. A man's bike.
Aren't you the lucky boy?
It's being delivered here to the house. He promised me.
Well, if he promised you. Now, who can we get to teach you to ride?
I know how to ride.
You don't.
I learned at school last Easter. So there. But you can't ride.
I can so.
I know you can't.
Well, maybe not by myself, but put me on the bar, cub. Magnificent.
You've never been on the bar of a bike in your life, Aunt Maggie.
Yes, I have, Michael. Indeed, I have. Now, away and write to Santa some other time. On a day like today, you should be out in the fields running like a young calf. Oh, hold on. New riddle for you.
Oh, give up.
Oh. A man goes to an apple tree with 2 apples on it. He doesn't take apples off it. He doesn't leave apples on it. How does he do that?
Give up.
Think, will ya?
Give up.
Well, since you don't know, I would tell ya. He takes 1 apple off. Get it? He doesn't take apples off. He doesn't leave apples on. You might as well be talking to a turf stack.
Did I hear the church bell ringing?
Big posh wedding today.
Not one of my sisters.
No such luck. A man called Austin Morgan and a girl from Carrickfad.
Austin Morgan. Should I know that name?
I don't think so. The only arcade in town. And how are you today?
Cold as usual, Maggie, but complaining about it as usual.
Oh, complain away, why wouldn't you? And it is getting colder. But you're looking stronger every day, Jack.
I feel stronger too. Now for my last walk of the day.
Number 3.
Number 4. Down past the old clothesline, across the stream, round the old well, and up through the meadow. And after that, Kate won't have to nag at me. Nag. Sounds funny. Something wrong with that nag. That's not a word, is it?
Nag, yes. To keep on at somebody.
Yes? Nag. Good. So my English vocabulary is coming back too. Great.
Look at that.
Nag. Still sounds a bit strange.
Time for another walk, Jack.
Just about to set out on number 4, Kate, and thank you for keeping at me.
The Santa Rose Nagas yet?
They said they'd be back for tea. They're away picking bilberries.
You used to pick bilberries, don't you remember?
Down beside the old quarry.
The very place.
Mother and myself, every Lughnasa, the annual ritual, of course I remember. Oh, and then she made the most wonderful bilberry jam. And that's what you took to school with you every day all through the winter. A piece of soda bread and bilberry jam.
But no butter.
Totally, except on special occasions when you got scones, and for some reason they were always buttered. I really must walk down to that old quarry one of these days. Oh, redder than the cherry, oh, sweeter than the berry, oh, yet more bright than moonshine, light than kindled, blithe and merry. Where on earth did that come from? You see, Kate, it's all coming back to me.
So you'll soon start saying mass again?
Yes, indeed.
Here, in the house.
Why not? Perhaps we'll start next Monday. The neighbours would join us, wouldn't they?
They surely would. A lot of them have been asking me already.
How do we let them know?
I wouldn't worry about that. Word gets back very quickly.
What Okawa does, and you know Okawa, don't you?
Your houseboy?
My friend, my mentor, my counselor,
Right.
and yes, my houseboy. Anyhow,
There it is.
Okawa would summon our people by striking this huge iron gong. Did you hear the wedding bell this morning, Kate?
Yes.
Well, Okawa's gong would carry 4 times as far as that. But if it's one of the bigger ceremonies, he'll spend the whole day going around all the neighbouring villages, blowing into this enormous flute he made all by himself.
And they all meet in your church?
When I had a church. Now we mostly meet in the common, in the middle of the village. If it's an important ceremony, you could have up to 300-400 people.
All gathered together for mass?
Perhaps. Or maybe to offer sacrifice to Obi, our great goddess of the earth, so that the crops will flourish. Or maybe to get in touch with our departed fathers for their advice and wisdom. Or maybe to thank the spirits of our tribe if they've been good to us, or to appease them if they're angry. I complain to Okawa that our calendar of ceremonies gets fuller every year. Now, at this time of year over there, the Ugandan harvest time, we have 2 very wonderful ceremonies. The festival of the new yam and the festival of the sweet cassava. And they are both dedicated to our great goddess Obi.
But these aren't Christian ceremonies, Jack, are they?
Oh, no. The Ryangans have always been faithful to their own beliefs. Like these 2 festivals I'm telling you about. And they are really special, really magnificent ceremonies. I haven't told you about those 2 ceremonies before, have I?
Not to me, no.
Well, they begin very formally, very solemnly with the ritual sacrifice of a fowl or a goat or a calf down at the bank of the river. Then the annual cutting and anointing of the first yams and the first cassava. Oh, and we pass these round in huge wooden bowls. Then the incantation, a chant, really, that shows our gratitude, and it also acts as a rhythm or percussion for the ritual dance. Then, when the Thanksgiving is over, the dance continues, and the interesting thing is that it grows naturally into a secular celebration, so that almost imperceptibly, the religious ceremony ends, and the community celebration takes over. And that part of the ceremony is a real spectacle. We light fires around the periphery of the circle, and we paint our faces with these coloured powders, and we sing local songs, and we drink palm wine. And then we dance and dance and dance. Children, men, women, most of them lepers, some of them with misshapen limbs, missing limbs, dancing, believe it or not, for days on end. It's the most wonderful sight you've ever seen. Oh, that palm wine. They do it up in horns, you lose all sense of time. Oh, yes. The Ryangans are a remarkable people. There's no distinction between the religious and the secular in their culture. And of course their capacity for fun, for laughing, for practical jokes. They have such open hearts. In many ways, they're not unlike us. Oh, you'd love them, Maggie. You should come back with me.
Yeah.
How did I get into all that? You really must stop me telling these long stories. Exercise time. I'll be back in 10 minutes. And only last week it took me a half an hour to do number 4. You've done a great job with me, Kate, so please do keep nagging at me. It's not Gilbert and Sullivan, is it?
Sorry.
That quotation.
What's that, Jack?
Oh, redder than the cherry. the sweeter than the better. No, that's not Gilbert and Sullivan. But it will come back to me, I promise you. It's all coming back.
Jack,
Yes.
you will start saying mass again.
We've agreed on next Monday, haven't we? Haven't we, Maggie?
Yes.
At first light, the moment Rose's white cock crows, a harvest ceremony. You'll have to find a big gong somewhere, Kate.
Told you. You won't believe me, but I told you. What do you think? He's not back on month yet. Yesterday was the medicine man that brought a woman back from death.
He needs more time.
And today was the spirit of the tribe. And when I mentioned Mass, just saw how he dodged about.
He said he'd say Mass next Monday, Kate.
He won't. You know he won't. He's changed, Maggie.
In another month, he'll be...
Completely changed. He's a dirty apple Paul. That's what he's changed into that frightens me.
Well, it doesn't frighten me.
Saw your face. Of course it does. Dear God.
Oh, all the same, Kitty, I don't think it's a sight I'd like to see.
Well, what sight?
A clatter of lepers trying to do the military two-step.
Oh, forgive him, Maggie Mundy. Those poor creatures are entitled to as much as we must be kept to the back of Maggie here. Not a word of this must leave these walls. Not a syllable.
No false modesty. You know you're a great dancer.
No, I'm not.
Oh, you should be a professional dancer.
You're talking rubbish.
Oh, let's dance around the garden again.
We've done that. And down the lane and up again without music. And that's enough for one day.
Oh,
Tell me more about signing up. Was it really in a church?
I'm telling you, it was unbelievable.
It was a real church.
A Catholic church is a matter of interest.
I don't believe a word of it.
Would I tell you a lie? And up in the end of the sanctuary, there were 3 men, 2 of them in trench coats, and between them, standing behind this lectern and wearing a sort of military cap, this little chappie described himself as the recruiting officer. Take it from me, comrade, no one joins the brigade without my unanimity.
It's a wonder he accepted it.
Do you offer your allegiance, your loyalty, and your full endeavors to the popular front?
What's the popular front?
Oh, the Spanish government that I'm to keep in power. I take it you're a syndicalist? No. An anarchist? No. A Marxist? No. A Republican? A socialist? A communist? No. Do you speak Spanish? No. Can you make explosives? No. Can you ride a motorbike? Ah, yes, that's it. You're in. Sign here.
So you'll be a dispatch rider? And you'll leave on Saturday?
There's fine.
And how long will you be away?
As long as it takes to get the place sorted out.
Terry.
Just a couple of months. Everybody says it'll be over by Christmas.
They always say it'll be over by Christmas. You still don't know where you're going.
Not sure I know either. Ooh, it's salesmen that can't sell. And there's bound to be something right about the cause, isn't there? There's a place to go. Maybe that's all a man needs. A named destination. Democracy. Ballybeg. Heaven. Woman's illusions aren't so easily satisfied. They make better drifters. Anyhow, he held out a pen for me to sign on the dotted line. It was only that when I was signing my name that I noticed the box.
What box?
He was standing on a box. The chappie was a little person.
Jerry!
No bigger than 3 feet.
Jerry!
And afterwards, when we were having drinks, he told me that he was invaluable to the brigade because he was a master at disguising himself.
Jeffrey Evans, you are his...
Let's go down to the old well, shall we?
We're going nowhere.
Oh.
Come inside and take a look at this wireless. It stops and starts whenever it feels like it.
I told you, I know nothing about radios.
But I've said you're a genius, Malcolm.
Chrissy, I wouldn't know how to fix a radio if I... Oh,
But you can try, can't you? Come on, Michael misses it badly.
all right.
You should see Jack striding through the meadow. He looks like a new man.
Were you talking to him?
Well, he wants to do a sort of swap with me. I'm to give him me hat, and he's to give me some sort of 3-cornered hat that the district commissioner gave him. Seems a fair exchange.
Chrissy says you're great with radios, Jerry.
I'll take a look at it. Why not?
All I can tell you is it's not the battery. We got a new one yesterday.
Well, let me take a look at the aerial. Very often that's where the trouble lies. And then the ignition, and then the sparking plugs. Leave it to Jerry.
Well, he sounds very knowledgeable.
It's maybe something he can't fix.
I know you're not responsible for Jerry's decisions, Christina, but it'd be on my conscience if I didn't tell you how strongly I disapprove of this international brigade paper. It's a sorry day for Ireland when we send young men off to Spain to fight for godless communism.
For democracy, Kate.
I'm not trying to argue. I just want to clear my conscience, that's all.
That's the important thing, of course. And now you've cleared it.
Turn on the radio, Chrissy, would ya?
It's on!
Oh, right.
Just as we were coming out of the town, we met Vera McLaughlin, the knitting agent. Agnes and Rose aren't back yet.
They'll be back soon.
She says she'll call in tomorrow and tell them herself. The poor woman is very distressed.
Tell them what?
She's not buying any more hand-knitted gloves.
Why not?
Too dear, she says.
Too dear. She pays them a pittance.
There's a new factory started up in Donegal town, and they make machine gloves more quickly and far more cheaply there. Most of the people there used to supply are buying their gloves direct from the factory now.
That's awful news, Chrissy.
She says they're organizing buses to take the workers to the factory and back every day. Most of the people that used to work at home signed on. She tried to get a job there herself. They told her she was too old. She's 41. The poor woman can hardly speak.
Oh, God. Poor Aggie. Oh, Rose. What will they do?
Who is that beautiful woman?
Jerry?
Up here, Aggie.
Where?
Up on top of the sycamore.
Oh, Mother of God!
Come up and join me.
What are you doing up there?
You can see into the future from here, Aggie.
Oh, that tree isn't safe, Jerry. Please come down.
Come up and see what's going to happen to you.
That branch is dead, Jerry. I'm telling you.
Oh, do you think I can get a job at a circus? Wow.
Jerry.
He flies through the air with the greatest of ease. Whee!
Stop, Jerry. Stop it.
That daring young man on the flying trapeze.
You're going to fall. I'm not looking.
Oh.
I'm not watching. That clown of a man is up on top of the sycamore. Go on and tell him to come down, Chrissy. He's fixing the area. He's going to break his neck, I'm telling you. As long as he fixes the wireless first. And tell her the little berries on this. Just that bit too ripe. We should have picked them a week ago.
It's not the stain on your gown.
I know. I'd only begun when I fell into a bush. And look at the ants, all scrabbled with briars. For all the sympathy I got from Rosa, she nearly died, laughing at me. How is she now? Is she still in bed? Bed? She left me one home to lie down. She's here, isn't she? I haven't seen her, have you? No. When did she leave you? Hours ago. Almost immediately after we got to the old quarry. She said she felt out of sorts.
And she went to walk by herself.
Yes. To come home, that's what she said. She's not in her bed. Oh, God, where did it start at the beginning, Agnes? What exactly happened? Oh, nothing happened. Nothing at all. We left here together. When was it? Just after 1 o'clock.
That means she's been missing for over 3 hours.
And we walked there together. She was chatting away as usual. I had my 2 cans and she had... Go on. And just after we got there, she said she wasn't feeling well. So I told her not to bother about the bilberries, just to sit in the sun. And that's what she did. For how long? I don't know. 5, maybe 10 minutes. And then that was when I fell into the bush. And that was when she left. And she said, oh God, I'd forgotten what she said. Something about a headache and her stomach being sick. And she'd go home and lie down for a while. You're sure she's not in her bed?
What?
Oh God, where could she be? What direction did she go when she left you? Stop sniffling, Agnes. Did she go towards home? Yes, I think so. Maybe. Maggie.
She may have gone into town, yeah? She wouldn't have gone to town for her wedding.
Oh, she was wearing her good shoes. Are you sure? Yes, and her Sunday dress. I said to her, you're some lady to go picking bilberries with it. And she just laughed and said, ain't I some tall, Maggie, ain't I some tall? Had she a bottle of milk with her? Yes, in one of her cans. Had she any money with her? She had half a crown. That's all she has. Oh, Danny Bradley. What? Who? Danny Bradley. Lughnasa up in the back hills.
Oh God, no.
What's this? What about the back hills?
She has some silly notion about that Snap Bradley. She believes he's in love with her. He bought her presents last Christmas, she said.
What do you know about this Bradley business?
I don't know more
I'm
than
been seeing you and Rose whispering together. What plot has been hatching between Rose and Mr. Bradley? You're lying to me, Agnes. You're withholding. I want to know the truth. I want to know everything you know now. Now I want to know it now. What? Oh, God. She may have gone into town. She may be on her way home now. She may have taken a weak turn on her way back from the quarry. We're going to find her. All right? Okay. You search the fields on the upper side of the lane. You take the lower down as far as the main road, right? And you go to the old well and search all around there. I'm going into town to tell the police. You're going to the police, Maggie. If she's mixed up with that Bradley creature, I don't want to have it broadcasted all
I'm
over
going to
town.
tell the police and you'll do what I told you to do.
There she is! Look, there she is! Rosie!
Rosie, no!
We're beginning to get worried about you.
They're nice, Aggie. They're sweet. And you got 2 handfuls of them, good for you.
Is your stomach settled?
My stomach.
You weren't feeling well, remember? We were at the quarry.
Oh, yes, so I'm fine now, thanks.
You left me and went home to lie down. Do you remember that?
Yes,
But you didn't come home, Rosie.
that's right.
And we were all very worried about you.
Well, here I am.
Were you in the town? That's why I all dressed up, isn't
You
it?
went to the belly bag, didn't you?
Now she's home safe and sound, and that's all that matters, okay? I don't know about you girls, but I can tell you this chicken is weak with hunger. Let me tell you what's on the menu for this evening. We've got the usual beverage of hot sweet tea, the choice between caraway seed bread and soda bread, both fresh from the chef's oven. And now we come to this difficulty. There's 3 eggs between the 7 of us. I wish to God you'd persuade that white rooster of yours to lay eggs, Rosie.
They're alright, Miss Maggie.
How are they? Of course. The soldier up the sycamore. Right? Not a great larder, but a nice challenge for someone like myself. Right. My suggestion is eggs ballybeg, or in other words, scrambled and served on lightly toasted caraway seed bread, followed for those so inclined by one magnificent wildwood wine. Everybody happy?
Excellent, Margaret.
Settled. Right. We'll go pick some more bilberries next Sunday, Rose.
Alright.
Remember the cans you had?
You had your own 2 cans, remember?
Did you take them with you?
Where to? I
To the
did.
town.
Wherever you went.
I hid them in the quarry behind a stone well. They're safe there. I'll go back and pick them up later this evening. Does anybody know where my overall is?
It's lying across your bed, and you'll need to bring some turkey too, Rosie.
I'll change first, Maggie.
Be quick about it.
How many pieces of toast do you want?
All that loaf. And cook easy on the butter, that's all we have. Now just a little parsley and a whiff of basil. I don't know about you girls, but I'm feeling very creative this evening. I want to know where you've been, Rose. You've been gone for the entire afternoon. I'd like you to tell me where you've been. Where have you been the past 3 hours? I didn't hear what you said, Rose.
Lughnasa.
Kate, just leave
You
it.
walked from the quarry to Lughnasa.
Yes.
Did you meet someone there?
Yes.
Had you arranged to meet someone there?
I had arranged to meet Danny Bradley there, Kate. He brought me out in his father's blue boat. I don't want anything to eat, Maggie. I brought a bottle of milk and a packet of chocolate biscuits with me. And we had a picnic on the lake. And then the 2 of us went up through the back hills. He showed me what was left of the Lughnasa fires. A few of them are still burning away up there. We passed Joe Sweeney's house. You know, the boy who got burned, the boy who you said was dying. Well, he's on the mend, Danny says. His legs will be scarred, but he'll be all right. It's a very peaceful place up there. There was nobody but Danny and me. He calls me his rosebud Aggie. I told you that before, didn't I? And then he walked me down as far as the workhouse gate and I came on home by myself. And that's all I'm going to tell you. And that's all any of you are going to hear.
will we ever be able to lift our heads again?
The following night, Bear McLaughlin arrived and explained to Agnes and Rose why she couldn't buy their Hennessy gloves anymore. Most of her home kniters were already working in the factory, and she advised Agnes and Rose to apply immediately. The industrial revolution had finally caught up with Ballybeg. They didn't apply, even though they had no other means of making a living, and they never discussed the situation with their sisters. Perhaps Agnes made the decision for both of them, because she knew Rose would never have gotten a job there anyway. Or perhaps, as Kate believed, Agnes was too notionate to work in a factory. Or perhaps the two of them just wanted away. Anyhow, on my first day back at school, when we came down to the kitchen for breakfast, there was a note propped up against the milk jug. We are gone for good. This is best for all. Do not try to find us. It was written in Agnes's resolute hand. Of course, we did try to find them. So did the police, and so did our neighbors, who had a huge number of relatives all across England and America. They had vanished without a trace. By the time I caught up with them, 25 years later, in London, Agnes was dead, and Rose was dying in a hospice for the destitute in Southwark. The information I gathered about their lives during those missing years was too sparse to be coherent. They moved about a lot. They worked as cleaning ladies in public toilets, in factories, in the underground. And then, when Rose could no longer get work, Agnes tried to support them both, but couldn't. From then on, I gathered, they gave up. They took to drink. They slept in doorways, in parks, on the Thames embankment. And then Agnes died of exposure. And 2 days after I found Rose living in that grim hospice, she didn't recognize me, of course. She died in her sleep. Father Jack's health improved quickly, and he soon recovered his full vocabulary and all his old bounce and vigor. But he didn't say Mass again the following Monday. In fact, he never said Mass again. And the neighbors stopped inquiring about him, and his name never again appeared in a Donegal Inquirer. And of course, there was never any civic reception with bands and flags and speeches. And when he died suddenly of a heart attack within a year of his homecoming, on the very eve of the fall of Lughnasa, my mother and Maggie mourned him sorely. But for months, Kate was inconsolable. My father sailed for Spain that Saturday. The last I saw of him was dancing down the lane in imitation of Fred Astaire, swinging his walking stick, Father Jack's ceremonial tricorn into jaunty angle over his left eye. When he got to the main road, he turned back to Mother and me and blew a dozen theatrical kisses. He still visited us occasionally, perhaps once a year. And each time he was on the brink of a new career, and each time he proposed to Mother and promised me a new bike. And then the war came in 1939. His visits became more and more infrequent, until finally, he stopped coming altogether. Sometime in the mid-50s, I got a letter from the south of Dublin, a curt note from a young man of my own age, and also called Michael Evans. He had found my name and address among the belongings of his father, Jerry Evans. He introduced himself as my half-brother and wanted me to know that Jerry Evans, the father we shared, had died peacefully in the family home the previous week. Throughout his final illness, he was nursed by his wife and by his 3 grown children, who all lived and worked in that village. My mother never knew of that letter. I decided to tell her, decided not to, vacillated for years as my father would have done, and then, rightly or wrongly, kept the information to myself.
Well, at least that's good news. What's that? That the young Sweeney boy from the back hills is going to live. Good news indeed. Michael, where are you? We need some turf brought in. Are you still up there?
Don't stand right there. They might fall on top of you.
Do you have any idea what you're doing?
Come on up here tonight.
Well, I'm sure I will.
We never made love on top of the sycamore tree.
If you fall and break your neck,
What is it that Ballybeg hasn't got, but that Ballybeg badly needs?
A riddle, giggle.
A dressmaker. So why doesn't Agnes Mundy, who has such clever hands, why doesn't she dressmake?
Clever hands.
She'd get a pile of work. They'd come to her far and wide. She'd make a fortune.
Some fortune in Ballybeg.
And not only would the work be interesting, but she wouldn't be ruining her eyes staring at grey wool 8 hours a day. You ever notice how Rosie squints at things now? I'm telling you, Aggie, it's the job for you. Oh God, don't tell me I'm out of fags, girls. I wonder how that could have happened. Stealing my cigarettes on the way from town. Sneaky puff. Oh God. Oh, Chrissy, you are one genius. Yeah. Look, Kate. Misery. Happiness. What a drag.
What's keeping those wonderful eyes Ballybeg?
If I had to choose between one wild woodbine and a man, say, 52, widower, plump, which would I choose? I'd take Fatso, wouldn't I? God, I really am getting desperate. Maybe I should just go to Rihanna with you, Jack.
I know you won't, but I know you'd love it.
Could you guarantee a man for each of us?
I couldn't promise 4 men, but I should be able to get 1 husband for the 4 of you.
Would we settle for that?
One for the 4 of us.
Well, that's our system, and it works very well. One of you would be his principal wife and live in the largest house.
That'd be you, Kate.
And the other 3 of you, he'd keep in his enclosure. It'd be like living on the same small farm.
Snug enough, girls, isn't it? And what sort of duties would we have?
Cooking, sewing, keeping the crops, washing, the usual housekeeping tasks.
Sure, that's what we do anyway.
And looking after his children.
That he'd have by Kate.
By all 4 of you. And what's so efficient is that the husband and his wives and his children make up a small commune where everyone looks after each other and cares for them. I'm completely in favour of it.
It may be efficient and he may be in favour of it, Jack, but I don't think it's what Pope Pius XI considers to be the holy sacrament of matrimony. And it might do you some good if you pay a bit more attention to our Holy Father and a bit less to the great goddess Aggie.
Listen.
Now tell me, Jack, do they have hens there too?
We're overrun with hens.
Don't dismiss it, girls. It has its points. Would you be game, Kate?
Would you give my head peace, Maggie?
But Terry, how's it going? Well, tell me, Jack, what's Swahili for?
You love the climate too, Kate.
Don't listen to a word you're saying.
Well, any good? Leave it to the expert.
I have something for you, Jerry.
What's that?
The plug tap. The ceremonial hat. You just swap with you in a second.
Good work, Jerry.
Oh, I thought it might be the Ariel. That's any of your troubles. Dance with me, Agnes.
What a sense, Jerry Evans.
Oh, come on, dance with me, please.
Oh, dance with Aggie, come on.
Oh, give me your
Who
hand.
wants to dance this time?
Me.
Yeah, go on, Aggie. All right.
Oh, yeah. That's all I am. Oh, let's dance out in the garden. Yes.
That's our woman.
Oh, beautiful. I was talking about you. You're a great dancer, Agnes. You're a superb dancer.
No, I'm not.
You should be a professional dancer. You should teach dancing in belly bag.
That's all they need.
Maybe it is. Wee! Woo! Wee! All right, let's get you inside, shall we? Oh, I gotcha. Get the door for me. There you are! Safe and sound.
I wish to God I could dance like you, Aggie.
Sounds elegantly
Always did, our Aggie.
unbelievable. Ah, now, Chrissy, you annoy.
Wonder where that
that Michael fellow's got to.
Oh, come on, what's on the floor?
Not now, I say, you fit.
I'm done with you, Jerry. You ready to see real class?
Certainly am, Maggie.
Stand back there, girls. Shirley Temple needs a bossy space.
Wow.
Hold me close, Jerry. The old legs aren't too reliable.
I got you.
Sick of that damn thing.
What happened?
What are you at there, Chrissy?
We're only wasting the battery, and we won't get the new one until the weekend.
Well, Jerry, perhaps another day. Wasn't meant to be.
That's a promise, Maggie.
Right.
What a mad little set that.
Peace, thanks be to God. You know that thing is done.
Huh.
Killing all Christian conversation in this country.
Oh, fuck.
Mary McLaughlin's calling here tomorrow. She wants to talk to you and Rose. What's that?
I didn't tell you, did I? Her daughter's got engaged.
Which of them?
Nahar, this dance is going to be just supreme. This year Miss Monday, that wee brat.
Sophia? Is she not still in school?
Left last year. She's 15 and the lucky man is 16.
Holy God. We may pack it in, girls.
It's indecent, I'm telling you. 15 and 16. You can't tell me that's not totally improper. It's the poor mother I feel sorry for.
What did she want to talk to us about? Something about wool. Didn't sound important. She probably won't call at all. Go ahead and dance, you two.
Artistes like Margaret Mundy can't be expected to dance on command, Chrissy. We need to be in touch with our other forces first, don't we, Jerry?
Absolutely. Why is there no sound?
Maggie, are we never going to eat?
Indeed we are. Outside, in the garden, eggs ballybeg al fresco. Lughnasa is almost over, girls, and there aren't going to be many warm evenings left.
Good idea, Maggie.
Right.
Are you all right?
That's away again, is it?
Have I done something wrong?
I switched you off, that's all I did.
Let's put a cloth on the ground, yeah?
Well, at least we know it's not the aerial.
According to you.
And if it's not the aerial, the next thing to check is the ignition.
Ignition, listen to the blubber.
Blubber! Did you hear what she called me, Agnes? Blubber. That's unfair, isn't it? Let's just see what's what.
Oh, Rosie, what is it, Rosie?
Our rooster's dead.
Oh, poor Rosie.
Look at him. He's dead.
Oh,
The fox must have got him.
oh, Rosie.
Maggie warned me the fox was about to get him. That's the end of my pet rooster. The fox must have got him. You were right, Maggie.
What, did he get at the hens?
I don't think so.
Was the door left open?
They're all right. They're safe.
That is said.
We'll get a new white rooster for you, Rosie.
Doesn't matter.
And I'll put manners on him early on.
I don't want another.
Poor old Rosie. We can hardly expect him to leave for us now.
Where's that Michael fellow got to? He hears me rightfully, you know. Probably out there, talking about, watching us. Michael!
Jerry, my friend, where are you?
How do you, John?
Oh. There you are, my friend.
Jesus, Mary, Joseph!
My ceremonial clothes for the formal exchange. There was a time where it fitted me, believe it or not. A wonderful uniform, isn't it?
Unbelievable. I could do with that for Spain.
I wore this when I was chaplain to the British Army during the Great War.
We know only too well what it is, Jack.
Oh, isn't it splendid? It was splendid. Needs a bit of a clean-up. Cow is always dressing up in it. I really must give it to him to keep.
It's not at all suitable for this climate, Jack.
You're right, Kate! Just for the ceremony, then I'll change that. Now, what we do at home when we swap or barter is this. I place my possession on the ground. Just at your feet. Good, good. Now, take 3 steps back. A symbolic distancing of yourself from what you once possessed. Good. Now, turn around once. Yes, complete circle. And that is the formal rejection of what you once had. You no longer lay claim to it. Now I walk over to where you stand, right? And you cross over to the spot that I have left. So, excellent. The exchange is now formally and irrevocably complete. This is my straw hat, and that is your tricorn hat. Try it on. Splendid, and it suits him. It suits him.
Thanks, too, babe.
Oh, how about that? Is that better, Agnes?
You're lovely.
And how about this? Or maybe like this, or a bit further in the back?
Would you look at that stroke about like little peacocks?
Oh, Chrissy, go put on Marconi.
I think it's broken again.
Jerry fixed it, didn't you?
Hey, Chrissy,
thing.
I wish you wouldn't choose words like that, Christina. There's still great heat in that sun.
Great harvest weather. I love September. Cooking time, girls.
Wait a while, Maddie. Enjoy the bit of heat that's left.
Next Sunday, is that alright?
Next Sunday.
We'll go pick some more bilberries.
Yes, yes. Whatever you say, Auntie.
Not bad for a kid of 7. Very neatly made.
Look at the artwork.
Wow, 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 wow! That is just unbelievable!
I keep telling his mother she has a very talented son. So there, Mr. Evans.
Have you all seen these?
Oh, I hate them.
Oh, I think they're just wonderful. Look at that. I'll tell you something. This kid isn't going to end up selling gramophones.
Michael, he always vanishes when you need him.
Oh, I've been written for you. Oh, yes, please, take a seat. Why is a gramophone like a parrot?
Oh,
Well, because a gramophone is like a... Well, a gramophone is... Oh God, I've forgotten.
As I said, Father Jack was dead within 12 months. And with him and Agnes and Rose all gone, the heart seemed to go out of the house. Maggie took on task of Rose and Agnes had done and pretended to believe that nothing had changed. My mother spent the rest of her life in a knitting factory and hated every day of it. And after a few years of doing nothing, Kate got a job of tutoring the young family of Austin Morgan of the arcade. But much of the spirit and fun had gone out of the house. And when my time came to go away, in the selfish way of young men, I was happy to escape. And so, when I cast my mind back to that summer of 1936, different kinds of memories offered themselves to me. But there is one memory of the Lughnasa time that visits me most often. And what fascinates me about that memory is that it owes nothing to fact. In that memory, atmosphere is more real than incident, and everything is simultaneously actual and illusory. In that memory, too, the air is nostalgic with the music of the 30s. It drifts in from somewhere far away, a mirage of sound, a dream music that is both heard and imagined, that is both itself and its own echo. A sound so alluring and so mesmeric that the afternoon is bewitched, maybe haunted by it. What is so strange about that memory is that everyone seems to be floating on these sweet sounds, moving rhythmically, languorously, in complete isolation, responding more to the mood of the music than to its beat. When I think of it as dancing, dancing with eyes half closed, because to open them would break the spell. Dancing as if language had surrendered to movement, as if this ritual, this wordless ceremony, was now the way to speak, to whisper private and sacred things, to be in touch with some otherness. Oh, dancing as if the very heart of life and all its hopes might be found in those hushed notes and assuaging rhythms and in those silent and hypnotic movements. Dancing as if language no longer existed because words were no longer necessary.